to Jackson. Alley-oop for Zach! And we've got a Zach attack alert!
Hello again, Irish fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Coach Brey. I'm Jack Nolan, and Coach, it's been a few weeks since we got together. During that time, you played 4 games, but your team also completed their first semester academically, and they basically hit a three-point bomb.
They really did, Jack. I am so proud of our guys. Team GPA of 3.0. 8 of our upperclassmen had GPAs, the best they've ever had here at Notre Dame. Very proud of their maturity and business-like kind of philosophy at how they attack their academics.
And in those 4 games, you won 3 of them. The only loss, a heartbreaker in Indianapolis, where you lost a big lead to IU.
It was a heartbreaker, Jack, because we got off to a good start. We're up. We just couldn't finish the game, and we couldn't get defensive stops.
We have lots of highlights to show you of all 4 games. We'll start with the Loyola of Chicago game right after this timeout.
Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners Sprint, Coke Zero, Under Armour, and Gatorade. Inside Notre Dame Basketball is also sponsored by Delta Airlines, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics, Bank of America, Canon, Xfinity, Meyer, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, SiriusXM Satellite Radio, and UPS.
Your Loyola Chicago game was a really fun game for fans to watch. Both teams came out shooting the ball really well.
Both teams got out of the gate, and they were hard for us to guard, Jack. They played 4 guards. We had to switch to a little zone, and that gave us a little bit of a lead before half.
They tied the game at 25 on a dunk, and then you had an 8-0 run to give yourself a little bit of a first-half lead.
We did, and the zone really helped us. We were able to run out of zone, and I thought we were pretty efficient offensively. I think a good win for us because their guards put pressure on us the whole game.
Now, they cut your lead to 2 early in the second half, and as you mentioned, then you went to the 2-3 zone. What a huge difference. You ended up going on an 18-3 run.
Yeah, we really got going in the second half, and we've been good in second halves. I've liked how we've gotten more efficient. Our shooting percentage is high in second halves, but I thought we were able to run out of our zone and get some easy buckets.
And for this team in particular, success on defense has really led to success on offense.
No question, and I think it's a point we're trying to drive home as we get into league play. We must be better defensively, and we get some stops. We're then able to run, and we have fun running.
To that point in the season, I really thought the Loyola of Chicago game was your most complete game offensively.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought we shared the ball, balanced scoring, really moved it. We flowed well. We actually watched a lot of film of that game the next day to show good offense to our team.
Great all-around performance by Bonzie Colson.
Yeah, Bonzie continues to get better and better on both sides of the floor. He is growing so much. He's a fearless young man, and he's getting more comfortable in his role every day.
He had a team-high 14 points, sharing that honor with Matt Ryan, who not only scored 14, but he also defended and rebounded well for you.
Yeah, Matt Ryan is key for us off the bench. We know he can shoot the ball, but I think he's underrated as a defender and a rebounder. He's got great size. He really gives us some punch off the bench.
So the Irish win at 81-61 to go to 7-2 on the season. Then it was a little break for exams and on to Indianapolis to take on IU. Those highlights are coming up next. It would have been really hard to play better than you played in the first half against Indiana in the Crossroads Classic. You shot the lights out and defended very well.
It was one of those halves where, as a coaching staff at halftime, we didn't have anything to say. We played so well. And then I thought we answered runs in the second half, but we couldn't finish defensively with key stops and didn't attack their zone well and really didn't deserve to win. Indiana really played well down the stretch.
Bonzie Colson had the game of his life, 16 first-half points before finishing with 24 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals.
He just continues to grow, Jack. He was fabulous. He gave us confidence. We're posting him a little bit more. He's on the backboard. He's improved as a defender. He is a shot blocker. Love his growth.
One of the great storylines coming out of your non-conference schedule is VJ Beacham. He was in a tough slump at the end of last year into postseason. he may be your most consistent player throughout this year. He had 18 points, including 10 in the second half against IU.
I was interested to see him in that atmosphere. Indiana kid playing against Indiana in Indianapolis, and he has delivered, and he's delivered through this non-conference schedule. Great growth by him, and we're going to need him in league play.
And your great first half play extended into the second half. You hit your first 7 shots of the second half. You built a 16-point lead. The building was quiet. You still led by 8 with 6.5 left, and then your team went ice cold.
We couldn't make a shot. Their zone bothered us. I thought we didn't attack the gaps. We didn't flatten it much. We settled for some jump shots. The zone did definitely bother us. But I think the key was on the defensive end. You know, they got some offensive putbacks. We didn't rebound well. We didn't get out and challenge shots well. And they're very explosive offensively. And we saw it, how they finished the game.
And they also played like a team with their backs against the wall. IU did not have a quality non-conference win yet. They desperately needed to beat you, and I think that's one of the reasons they rallied.
Yeah, I think they, you know, when you're down 16 and it looks like completely over, you do have nothing to lose, and so you're shooting it looser. The thing that was disappointing for us, and we watched it the next day, was we didn't have a whole lot of fight in the paint to get rebounds when they missed that first shot, and that cost us, and we deserved to lose because of it.
It was a disappointing 80-73 loss, a long bus ride back to South Bend and Notre Dame, but the Irish didn't have to wait long to play another game. Youngstown State came to town on Monday night. We'll show you all the highlights of the game between the Fighting Irish and the Penguins coming up right after this. As you know, there's an art to non-conference scheduling, and this may have been an unintended bonus, but after struggling against the IU 2-3 zone, you take on a team 2 nights later that plays 95% 2-3 zone. So Youngstown State was a good follow-up game for you.
It was, and it was flat-out luck, Jack. You know, there was no strategy there, but that Youngstown sits in a 2-3 zone 90% of the game was good for us because we had to attack it again after it gave us such problems in Indianapolis. And I thought we did a better job of cutting and Demetrius getting in different spots, Zach and Bonzi handling the ball at the foul line. We were very efficient. It was a good way to close before Christmas break.
On the radio side, we named Demetrius the game MVP, not just because he had a game-high 17 points, but also because of the way he attacked the 2-3 zone much better than he did against IU.
Much better, and I think better, Jack, because we got him in different spots. We had him stalled at the top of the zone against Indiana, and that's really my fault. I didn't get him around. We were able to address that on Sunday, and he got to different spots. We're going to see zone and league play, so we better be better at it.
When you look at Zach August, what a great athlete with such a high ceiling. So sometimes people expect so much out of him that they don't appreciate what he's doing. And I always tell people, don't take a guy who's averaging a double-double for granted. And he turned in his 7th double-double in 11 games for you this season against Youngstown State. 16 points, 10 rebounds, and maybe the thing that probably made you smile the most, he was 10 of 12 from the free throw line.
I'm really pleased with where he's at, Jack, and really pleased with what he did from the foul line. You know, that was a key. He was not making free throws at a good enough clip for a big guy who gets fouled a lot, but that was big for him. But you're right, he has been a double-double machine. He plays, he competes. He's done a better job of bouncing back after making a mistake this season.
And you went to the bench very early in this game. 9 guys played in the first half, including Rex Pfluger, who's playing very hard in practice, and I know you're trying to find a spot for him.
You know, you're kind of searching a lot of guys. It was his night the other night to throw him in there, see him. He defends for us. He gives us great energy. He's so competitive against the white shirts every day. Wanted to evaluate him a little bit in that situation before we get into league play.
You really put the game away to start the second half, a 21-5 run.
We got out of the gate great in the second half. You know, we were shooting it well, moving it. I thought we defended well. You know, you want to play well before you go home for Christmas and take a little break, and I thought we did that.
Notre Dame wins it 87-78, and of course, the Irish players really wanted to bounce back strong after losing at Indiana, but they also wanted to play well for their head coach. As many of you know by now, Coach Brey's dad, Paul, died the day of the Indiana game, and his players wanted to honor him with a big victory.
We didn't even know until he came and told us himself. So, you know, it was important for us tonight to just focus in, lock in, and try to get this win for him because we know it meant a lot to him. And, you know, we just want to make things less hard for him and be there for him.
We couldn't let him down like that. You know, we had to come out and be ready to play no matter who it was. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been really supportive for him. You know, we wanted to really get this win for him.
Just giving us all he has as a coach, and so we just wanted to come out and give him all that we had and kind of bounce back and get a win for him.
You know, it's usually the coach who is supposed to be supportive and help the players through crises, but you've had two this year. Both your parents have passed, and your players have been great to you.
I tell you what, my players have been so good. Back in March when my mom passed, and then certainly when my dad, they're my family, and they've been amazingly supportive. They were great. Was able to explain what happened with my father. It was a blessing. He was in very bad shape. I felt so good that my mom and dad were together at Christmas, but it's great to be around your basketball family in times like that.
So the Irish headed into the Christmas break with an 8-3 record and a good taste of a win in their mouths. When we come back, we'll take a look at all the highlights of Notre Dame's final non-conference tune-up against Liberty. You gathered your team for your first post-Christmas practice on Saturday night, the day after Christmas, and you got 5 good workouts in before you took on Liberty.
You know, we did, Jack. We came back, we scrimmaged a little bit, tried to set the tone that now we're kind of getting into ACC mode. We went twice on Sunday, twice on Monday, actually practiced live a little bit on game day, so I felt we made some progress before we took the floor against Liberty.
And you shot the ball very well to start that game.
We did. We got out of the gate well. We really did. I didn't think we moved as well offensively throughout the first half. I thought the start of the second half, though, we really moved and got out of the gate, ran a little bit, got some stops, and played pretty well.
11-0 run to start the second half, including 2 threes by VJ Beacham in the first 45 seconds.
Well, VJ Beacham is playing great for us. You know, we talked all preseason, can he be there? Will he deliver? VJ Beacham is delivering for our team right now and really doing well. It was also good to play against Liberty because they play Virginia's style of defense. They jam the post, they double it, the help side's jammed in there. Zach August had to make a lot of decisions out of a double team. I thought it was good training for Saturday against Virginia.
Another brilliant piece of non-conference scheduling. Did you think about that when you scheduled them?
That also was flat out luck because you don't know your conference schedule. But certainly Richie McKay of Liberty does a great job, and so there was some familiarity in playing against Virginia's defense with the Liberty game.
So in addition to it being great preparation for your first conference game against Virginia, the other big piece of news that came out of this game that I liked was Steve Vastoria. He was in the worst shooting slump I have ever seen him in. It was only 2 games long, but he came out and he knocked down shots from everywhere.
Well, you know, I've always said around here with guys like him, I'm a firm believer in the law of averages, and you know, I know he really wanted to bounce back, and we're going to need him to play well and score for us. But I thought his teammates really found him in key positions. Hopefully that jump starts him for league play.
So a 73-56 win. You led by as many as 21. How did you feel coming out of that game?
Felt better about the second half and our offensive movement. I thought defensively we were pretty solid. They shot, you know, in the 30s, percentage-wise. But I thought our movement was better against that defense in the second half.
When you talk about consistent play, another guy you've got to mention is Bonzie Colson. During the 4 games between our last show and this show, Colson is averaging 15 points and 7.5 rebounds per game, including that career high 24 points against Indiana. That performance, of course, earned him the right to run this week's Inside Notre Dame Basketball Fast Break. Favorite musical group or artist?
Kanye West.
Who was your role model?
My parents.
One thing the public would be surprised to learn about you.
I can cook.
What did you do on your first date?
I went to the movies.
Favorite NBA player?
Kevin Durant.
Favorite part of practice?
Scrimmaging.
Worst part of practice?
Defensive drills.
Best part of your game?
Versatile.
Part of your game you need to work on?
Defense.
Which is better, blocking a key shot or grabbing a big rebound?
Grabbing a big rebound.
Favorite class you've taken at Notre Dame?
Anthropology.
Best leaper on the team?
VJ.
Best dunker on the team?
VJ.
Worst dunker on the team?
Matt Farrell.
Best dresser on the team?
Bonzie Colson.
Worst dresser on the team?
Steve.
Freestyle swimming race, 1 lap. Who wins, you or Coach Brey?
Me.
He's a great swimmer. It was a dead heat in a race in Pesaro on our Italy tour.
He's also a great personality to have on this team. He has a tendency to keep everybody loose.
He does. He's got a great sense of humor. The one thing that people should know, and I think they've seen it in a year and a half, he is a fearless competitor. He is unafraid, and he gives his teammates confidence, especially on the road in tough atmospheres.
And he's one of those players that has that innate ability to always be around the basketball and make good things happen.
Nose for the ball, instincts. He's improved so much just since the first day of practice. I see great growth for him, and he can become one of the special players in Notre Dame history.
Coach Brey and I will be back with this week's Ask Coach Brey question and a preview of the opening ACC conference game at Virginia right after this timeout. It's time now for this week's Ask Coach Brey question presented by the experts at TireRack.com. This week's question comes from Amy Rudge of Niles, Michigan. Coach, what do you expect from freshman Elijah Burns in the coming years? What position will he play for the Irish?
Elijah Burns is a really skilled frontline player. Out of the, it'll bring back memories of Ty Nash, how he plays. We're redshirting him this year, just giving him some time to get better, that ankle to heal up. But a very skilled, high-level basketball IQ frontline guy with great strength.
So the Irish are 9-3 heading into conference play, and everybody on this squad is very excited about not only opening conference play, but taking on probably the best team in the entire league on their home floor against Virginia on Saturday.
We're very excited about the ACC. Just to get a win tonight was a good feeling, and then they kind of play like Virginia, so it gave us a little bit of a tease. So we got to be ready to go Saturday.
I can't wait. This is what this is all what we want. We want to work hard. We want to obviously go back to back, but we're excited to go back to ACC play.
We're excited to play in a great environment against a great team against Virginia. So we're excited for the challenge ahead of us.
It's time to start conference play, and you have a nucleus of players who have had great success in conference play.
No question, Jack. The guys we have coming back, they know how to get through regular season league play. It's a marathon. You got to be steady, not too high, not too low, but boy, do we start off with a tough one at Virginia.
And as you mentioned earlier in the show, these players have high basketball IQs, and they use the Liberty game as a prep for Virginia.
Well, I thought it was really helpful to have to play against that defensive style before we go to Charlottesville.
The way that they play on defense in that atmosphere, a great home crowd, what are the biggest challenges for your team?
Being good with the ball and moving. There's a lot of double teaming situations, and so we have to be very, very good with the ball. We have to be receivers when we're doubled. Zach in the post, Bonzi in the post, Demetrius off a ball screen. But you got to cut, you got to move, and you got to drive it.
Now, commentators will reset like this is the beginning of the season, and it's the beginning of the second season, and they will point to the leadership that you lost from last year. But I know you've been very happy with the leadership that you have now.
When we played away from our building, and I look at the Illinois win and really how we got started against Indiana, our upperclassmen have set a great tone.
Coach, thank you very much. Good luck at Virginia. And of course, after that, the Irish head to Boston College for a Thursday night game. We'll have the highlights of Notre Dame's first two ACC conference games coming up on our next show. Until then, for Coach Brey, Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for watching, and go Irish.
Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners, Sprint, Coke Zero, Under Armour, and Gatorade. Inside Notre Dame Basketball is also sponsored by Delta Airlines, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics, Bank of America, Canon, Xfinity, Meyer, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, SiriusXM Satellite Radio, and UPS.